We needed the money more than you needed a car, my dad said after secretly selling my vehicle to pay for his luxury resort stay. I didn't argue, but when he returned, his perfect life was gone. I never thought I'd be one of those people, venting about my life on Reddit. But after what happened, I need to put this somewhere before I explode. I'm 26, I work in a warehouse, and I'm the kind of guy who keeps his head down, works his shifts, and minds his own business. I don't live fancy, just a small apartment, a used but reliable car, and a fridge that usually has more takeout containers than groceries. But hey, I pay my own way. That's more than I can say for my parents. My parents have never been poor, they just act like they are whenever it benefits them. We can't afford this right now, they'd say when I needed new school supplies, then go out for a steak dinner that same night. Money is tight, they tell me, while planning their next vacation. They've always been like this. And I should have known better than to trust them. The day my car disappeared. I got off work last Monday, exhausted, ready to drive home, maybe grab a burger on the way. I walked into the lot, reached for my keys, and nothing. My car was gone. At first, I thought maybe I parked somewhere else. Warehouse shifts are long, and my brain was fried. But after 5 minutes of walking circles around the lot, I knew. Stolen. It had to be. I called the cops, pacing as I gave them the details. It's a black Honda Civic, 2016, license plate. Sir, the officer cut in. It wasn't stolen. It was sold. What? I nearly dropped my phone. The vehicle was legally sold by the registered owner. My stomach dropped. There's gotta be a mistake. That car is mine. I paid for it myself. The title is under Daniel Carter. My stomach sank. I had left my car at their house the night before, just for one night. My apartment complex had temporary no parking signs up for repaving, so I figured it would be safe there. But I should have known better. My father. I stood there in the parking lot, my heart pounding. I had bought that car when I was 20, but since I needed a co-signer for the loan, my dad's name was on the title. I had meant to transfer it once I paid it off, but life got busy, and I never thought he'd. I nearly laughed. No, I should have expected this. I got a ride home from a coworker, my hands clenched into fists the whole drive. When I walked in the door, my parents weren't even home. I pulled out my phone and dialed my mom. Straight to voicemail. Dad? Same thing. Then I opened Facebook, because of course they were at a luxury resort. I checked Facebook, and there they were, lounging by a pool, frozen drinks in hand. My dad's arm around my mom like they were some kind of rich power couple. My mom had even posted a caption, much needed escape. You only live once. When they came back, a week later, the front door swung open, and my parents strolled in like nothing happened. My dad stretched, rolling his shoulders. His tan was darker, his shirt crisp and new. His suitcase thumped against the hardwood floor. He barely looked at me as he spoke. We needed the money more than you needed a car, he said casually, like he was talking about borrowing a sweater. It was just sitting there. Alex, you'll figure something out. I stared at him, gripping the armrest of the couch so hard my knuckles turned white. You sold my car. We had no choice, my mom chimed in, setting down her designer handbag. It was a last-minute deal at the resort. All-inclusive. Once-in-a-lifetime experience. I let out a short laugh. Oh, well, as long as you had a good time. Don't be dramatic, my dad sighed, tossing his wallet on the counter. You can take the bus for a while. It won't kill you. I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. You sold my only transportation so you could sip overpriced cocktails on a beach. Watch your tone, my dad warned, finally looking at me. We're family, Alex. We do things for each other. You don't see us complaining when we pay for groceries. You mean the groceries I buy? He waved a hand. You might as well still live here, Dad scoffed. You're always dropping by. I clenched my jaw. Because you keep, accidentally, sending my mail here. And using my name for utilities. I laughed. I couldn't help it. I moved out 3 years ago. My mom paused, like she just now remembered that. I exhaled slowly, gripping the bridge of my nose. You didn't even call me. You didn't ask. You just sold it, like my work didn't matter. Like I didn't matter. It's just a car, my dad muttered, already bored of the conversation. You'll get another one. And that was the moment something in me snapped. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just nodded and said, yeah, I'll figure something out. The morning after my parents came back, I decided to confront them. I drove to their house, heart pounding with anger. The moment I stepped inside, my dad turned toward me, already looking annoyed. Oh, look who's here. Still sulking. I crossed my arms. We need to talk. He stood there, arms crossed, still tanned from his luxury getaway. Are you really gonna sulk all week over that car? I blinked. Sulk? Yeah. I mean, look at you. Walking around like you lost a limb. It's just a car, Alex. He smirked, like this was all some big joke. You'll buy another one. I gritted my teeth. That stupid car got me to work. It made me money. Sometimes my boss asked me to do small deliveries when we were short on drivers. It was extra cash, good money, and I was saving up. But I guess you needed that money more than I did. Huh? Dad rolled his eyes. You're overreacting. We didn't need the money. We deserved the money. My hands clenched at my sides. Oh, is that how it works? You just take whatever you think you deserve. We're family, Alex. His tone shifted, like he was talking to a child who just didn't get it. Family helps each other. You think raising you was free? All those years of food, clothes, school? That stuff wasn't cheap. I stared at him. Are you seriously telling me I owe you for existing? Don't be like that, he scoffed. It's just, we've done so much for you. And you can't even let one thing go? One car. I let out a short, humorless laugh. That's when my mom walked into the room, holding a shopping bag in one hand. Honey, you're still upset? She sighed. Come on, we brought you something. She pulled a cheap wooden keychain out of the bag. One of those generic souvenirs with a name carved into it. Except it wasn't even my name. See? A little piece of paradise for you, she smiled. And you're mad over a car? I looked at the keychain, then at them. And then I saw what was behind my mom, another bag. A sleek black shopping bag with gold lettering. Louis XIII cognac. A $3,000 bottle of brandy. I knew exactly who that was for. Uncle Roger. My dad's older brother. You bought a $3,000 bottle of alcohol, I said slowly. But my car was disposable. Dad smirked. Come on, it's not the same. Roger always helps us out. You mean he lends you money when you blow through yours? His smirk disappeared. Mom sighed. Alex, stop. You're acting like we stole from you. I stared at them, my pulse pounding in my ears. You did steal from me. Dad scoffed. We're family. We do things for each other. I let out a slow breath, my hands shaking from how hard I was trying to stay calm. When have you ever done anything for me? He frowned. Don't start that again. No, seriously. I took a step forward. Tell me, when have you ever helped me? Silence. Then Dad waved a hand, dismissing the whole conversation. Oh, stop being so bitter. You'll get another car. That was it. That was the moment. I exhaled, shaking my head. You know what? You're right. Dad smirked again. Finally, you're coming to your senses. Yeah, I finally get it. I met his eyes, my voice steady. I'm done. His smirk faltered. What? I'm done being your safety net. I'm done paying your bills when you accidentally forget. I'm done bailing you out when you overspend on vacations and gifts for other people. I'm not giving you another cent. Mom's face twisted. Alex, don't be like that. No, I cut her off. Figure it out yourselves. I turned and walked away, leaving them standing there. I didn't know what they were going to do, but I knew one thing for sure. Their days of luxury were over. I didn't have to wait long for the explosion. At 6 a.m. sharp, I woke up to banging on my apartment door. Not knocking, banging. I already knew who it was. I rolled out of bed, exhaled sharply, and opened the door. Mom and Dad. Dad pushed past me like he owned the place. Get dressed. We need to talk. Mom followed, arms crossed, her lips pressed into a tight line. Alex, this has gone far enough. I rubbed my temples. You do realize it's barely morning, right? Oh, I'm sorry, are we inconveniencing you? Dad sneered. Funny, because we just found out you're planning to abandon us. I blinked. Abandon? Mom sighed dramatically. You can't just cut your parents off, Alex. That's not how families work. I walked into the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water, and leaned against the counter. Families don't sell each other's property behind their backs either. But here we are. Dad's face darkened. We needed that money. I needed that car. My voice came out sharper than I intended, but I didn't care anymore. That wasn't just my way to get to work. You know, my boss gives out extra pay to workers who can help with deliveries. That car helped me make money. And you, I let out a breath. You sold it like it was some useless junk sitting in the driveway. Dad rolled his eyes. Enough of this. We're fixing this now. You're not cutting us off. I'm not. I tilted my head. And how exactly do you plan to stop me? We're family, Alex. And families take care of each other, Mom said, her voice soft, like she thought she could still manipulate me into backing down. You don't want to regret this later, do you? Regret? I laughed, shaking my head. No, but you might. Dad frowned. What does that mean? I reached for my phone and pulled up my banking app. Let's talk about this car you sold. Mom and Dad exchanged a look. What about it? Dad asked, his tone suddenly cautious. I turned the screen toward them. You remember who made every single payment on it? Silence. I paid every installment. Every month. Directly from my account. And I have all the records to prove it. Mom's face paled. You see, legally, the car was under your name. But financially? That car was mine. And since you sold my property without my consent, I smiled coldly. I can take you to court and get every cent back. Dad's nostrils flared. You wouldn't. I have legal proof. His fist slammed against the kitchen counter. You're being so selfish. We raised you. We fed you. We gave you a home. And this is how you repay us. I didn't flinch. You didn't raise me. You tolerated me until I was old enough to make money. Mom finally snapped out of her shock. Alex, please. Don't do this. You wouldn't really take your own parents to court, right? I don't know. You didn't really hesitate to steal from your own son, so I guess anything's possible. Dad's face turned bright red. You wouldn't actually take us to court. I exhaled slowly, keeping my voice steady. Then give me my money back. More silence. Mom shifted uncomfortably. Honey, we can't. Why? I asked, but I already knew the answer. Dad clenched his jaw. Because the money is gone. Of course it was. Thousands of dollars. Blown on a week of luxury. I shook my head, laughing under my breath. You are unbelievable. Dad stepped closer, his voice lowering. You will drop this nonsense and forget about the money. No, Dad, I said, matching his tone. You will either give me my money back, or I'll take you to court and let a judge decide. Dad opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Mom looked like she was about to cry. Alex, please. We're your parents. Yeah, I said coldly. And you should have acted like it. I grabbed my keys and phone and walked toward the door. Where are you going? Mom called after me. To talk to a lawyer. And then I walked out. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. That night, someone knocked on my door. I opened it, expecting Dad, maybe Mom. But it was Uncle Roger. And he did not look happy. I didn't expect Uncle Roger to show up at my door that night. But when I opened it, there he was. Suit pressed, tie neatly knotted, expression stone cold serious. I leaned against the doorframe. Let me guess. They sent you. He let out a sharp breath. They did. I stepped aside. Might as well come in. Roger walked in, setting his expensive leather briefcase on my dining table like we were about to negotiate a multi-million-dollar deal. He turned to me with that same authoritative look he always had at family gatherings, the one that said, I'm the responsible one. The voice of reason. Alex, he started, your father is a wreck. Your mother's been crying for hours. You really told them you'd sue. I didn't sit. Yeah, I did. Roger rubbed his temples. Jesus. Over a car. I scoffed. No, Roger. Not over a car. Over the fact that they stole from me. Over the fact that I've paid their bills for years while they've spent money like drunken teenagers. Over the fact that they sold the one thing I actually owned without so much as a phone call. He nodded slowly, like he expected that answer. Look, I get it. They crossed a line. But you know they don't have the money, right? I smirked. Then they can get jobs. Roger blinked, like the thought had never even crossed his mind. Alex, come on. Your dad's in his 50s. Your mom hasn't worked in years. I shrugged. Sounds like a personal problem. Roger sighed, clearly frustrated. You're not being realistic. Oh, I'm being extremely realistic. Here's what's going to happen. They either find a way to pay me back, or I take them to court. And before you start lecturing me about family, just know that I have proof. Every bank transaction, every payment. I made every single installment on that car. It was mine, no matter whose name was on the title. Roger let out a slow breath, rubbing the back of his neck. Roger sighed and set his briefcase on the table. Look, I know they screwed up, and I'm not asking you to forgive them. Then why are you here? Because this lawsuit will ruin them. He exhaled. I can cover half of what they owe you, but you need to drop the case. I leaned back, considering. And if I say no, then they lose everything. I smirked. Sounds fair to me. You'd be telling them to fix their mess. Roger's jaw tightened. He looked at me for a long moment, then finally spoke. You're right. That caught me off guard. Your dad has always been reckless with money, and your mom lets him get away with it. I've bailed them out more times than I can count, but this..." He shook his head. "This is bad." I crossed my arms. "Then why are you still trying to get me to back down?" "Because this is your family, Alex. You take them to court, and that's it. No coming back from that." I tilted my head. Why would I want to come back to a family that steals from me? Roger exhaled sharply, shaking his head. "You know, your dad is desperate enough that he actually asked me for a loan." That made me laugh. "Let me guess, you said no." Roger gave me a look. Of course, I said no. I'm not throwing money into a black hole. Then why should I? He didn't have an answer for that. I grabbed my phone from the counter and scrolled through my banking app, then turned the screen toward him. "Every single payment, Roger? For 3 years. All from my account." He barely glanced at it before sighing. "All right, I get it. You've got a case. But what do you actually want?" I leaned back against the counter. "My money. And if they can't pay?" I shrugged. "Not my problem." Roger let out another deep breath, like he was carrying the weight of this whole situation on his shoulders. "Alex, listen." I cut him off. "No, Roger. You listen. They've used me my whole life. Every time they ran out of money, I was the first person they called. Every time I helped them, it was never enough. They stole from me, and you think the solution is for me to just let it go?" He didn't answer. "I'm done being the backup plan. If they didn't want consequences, they shouldn't have sold what wasn't theirs." Roger ran a hand down his face. "Seriously?" I folded my arms. "Are we done here?" He grabbed his briefcase, muttering under his breath as he headed for the door. But before he left, he turned to me one last time. "If you do this, Alex, you won't just be cutting them off. The whole family will turn on you." I smirked. "They already have." And with that, I shut the door behind him. The collapse begins. The next day, the phone calls started again. Not just from my parents, from relatives. "Aunt Lisa, Alex, honey, your mom says you're trying to bankrupt them. Is that true?" "Cousin Mark, dude, you're suing your own parents? Are you serious?" "Grandma, sweetheart, please don't do this. They made a mistake, but they're still your family." I ignored every single call. Then, at 8 p.m., the text started. "Mom, Alex, I'm begging you. We'll figure something out. Dad, if you do this, you're dead to us. Mom, please don't ruin our lives." I stared at that last text. Then I typed a single response. "You ruined your own lives the moment you stole from me." And I turned off my phone. 1 week later, my lawyer texted me. "They're trying to negotiate. Do you want to hear their offer?" I smirked. "Let's hear it." An hour later, I was sitting across from Mr. Lawson in his office. He slid a paper across the table, barely able to keep a straight face. "This is their offer." I picked it up and read it. $200 and a sincere apology. I blinked. "I'm sorry." "What?" Lawson chuckled. "Oh, and they'd like you to sign a document saying you forgive them, so that you never bring this up again." I let out a short laugh. $200? They sold my car for thousands. Lawson shrugged. "I guess they think that's what your suffering is worth." I tossed the paper back on the table. "Tell them to forget it. We're going to court. The trial. I won't bore you with the full details, but let's just say it was embarrassing for them." My lawyer came prepared. Bank statements. Loan payment receipts. Even the final letter from the lender showing that I, not my parents, had paid off the car in full. Meanwhile, their defense? But we're his parents. Spoiler alert, that doesn't hold up in court. It took less than 20 minutes for the judge to rule in my favor. The fallout. The court ordered my parents to pay me back the full market value of the car, plus additional damages for financial loss and emotional distress. Oh, and the best part? They had 60 days to pay up or face wage garnishment and asset liquidation. Mom gasped. "They'll take our house?" Dad's face went pure red. "This is nonsense." The judge didn't even blink. That's the ruling. Court is adjourned. I walked out feeling lighter than I had in years. Outside, Mom caught up to me, grabbing my sleeve. Her eyes were red, her voice shaking. "Alex, please, we don't have that kind of money. This will ruin us." I pulled my arm away. "Should have thought of that before you stole from me." Dad stormed after me, rage boiling over. "You only think about yourself. We're your parents. And you." I turned around and finally let everything out. "You did this to yourselves." They both froze. "You used me for years. Guilt tripped me. Took my money like it was your right. You thought I'd never fight back. Well, guess what? I did. And now you get to live with it. Mom started crying harder. Alex, we're going to lose the house. For the first time in my life, I felt nothing. No guilt. No hesitation. Just peace. Then get jobs. And with that, I walked away. Am I wrong to feel nothing? So, Reddit. That's it. I won. My parents? They're scrambling. They tried borrowing from relatives, but no one wants to help them. I heard through Uncle Roger that they're desperate. Part of me thought I'd feel guilty. Thought I'd regret it. But I don't. I feel free. Does that make me a bad person? Or did I just finally do what I should have done years ago? Let me know what you think. Final update. The aftermath. It's been 3 months since the court ruling. My parents? They lost. Badly. At first, they tried to ignore the judgment, hoping I'd back down. But guess what? The legal system doesn't work that way. Wage garnishment kicked in, and suddenly, they were losing chunks of their income every month. Then came the real blow. Their house went into foreclosure. Turns out, they had taken out a loan against the house last year to fund their ridiculous lifestyle. With their wages being docked and zero savings, they couldn't keep up with payments. One day, Uncle Roger texted me. Your parents are officially moving out. Hope it was worth it. I just stared at my phone, then replied. It was. Final attempt at manipulation. A few weeks after that, Mom called me. I didn't pick up. Then came the texts. Mom, Alex, please, we're losing everything. I don't know where we're going to live. Mom, can we talk? Just for a minute? Mom, we're your parents. Do we really mean nothing to you? Then came Dad's text. Dad, I'm disappointed in you. You ruined this family. Hope you're proud of yourself. Terrible person. Yeah, real touching. I didn't reply to either of them. Where they are now. According to relatives, my parents are living in a tiny rental now, a rundown apartment a few towns over. No more luxury vacations. No more fine dining. No more expensive gifts for people who weren't me. Uncle Roger stopped bailing them out. Most of the family? They don't talk to them anymore. Once they realized my parents had been using everyone for money, they backed off fast. Now, my parents are alone. And me? Where I am now. I bought a new car. A better one. One that's completely mine this time. I've started saving for a house for myself. Not to fund someone else's reckless spending. For the first time in my life, I don't feel like I'm carrying the weight of 2 other people's mistakes. I'm free. And I don't regret a single thing. Final thoughts? Am I wrong? So, Reddit. This is where it ends. My parents ruined their own lives. I just stopped saving them from the consequences. Does that make me cold? Maybe. But honestly, I don't care. Thanks to everyone who followed this. I'm finally moving forward, and I've never been happier. Final verdict. I won.